Cognac Queen, I'm lit. Turn to the back for pick. But guess what? I'm ready to snatch this bitch right off. Period, pool. I got my hair from...
I don't even be on no cocky shit, but I got more money than a lot of you broke ass bitches out here. Period.
It begins with a warning. Not from the police, not from the courts, not even from the streets, but from Destiny Harrison herself. On December 10th, 2019, she walked into a Baltimore courthouse with fear weighing on her chest. Just 21 years old, already a mother, already a business owner, and already wise enough to sense that her life was in danger. Penned inside a court filing, Destiny confessed what most people would keep hidden. "I'm scared for my life and business," she wrote. Those words now read like prophecy. They are the haunting foreshadow of a life that should have been protected but wasn't. Destiny wasn't just another young woman in Baltimore. She was a dreamer who turned her hustle into reality. At an age when many are still figuring out their next move, she had opened Madame D Beauty Bar, a salon that quickly became a community hub. Clients came for hairstyles, but what Destiny offered was much bigger. Confidence, conversation, a safe space. She was the type of woman who poured herself into her business and into her daughter. A 1-year-old girl who was always nearby, absorbing the world of hairdryers, curling irons, and the constant rhythm of her mother's work. But her dream was interrupted. On December 10th, inside her very own salon, Destiny was assaulted. 2 individuals attacked her, and merchandise, valuable hair bundles, was stolen. For most people, it might have been easier to stay silent, to swallow the loss and keep working. But Destiny believed in fighting for what she had built. She reported the assault to the police. She named her assailants, and she told the court exactly how she felt. Afraid, vulnerable, exposed. 9 days later, on December 19th, the system responded. A peace order was issued against one of the suspects. For a brief moment, it seemed like Destiny's courage in coming forward had secured her protection. She had taken the proper steps, followed the process, and trusted the system. But protection on paper does not stop a bullet. Just 2 days later, on the evening of December 21st, 2019, Destiny was back at work inside Madame D Beauty Bar. The salon was alive with energy. Music played, conversations flowed, and clients were laughing as they prepared for the holidays. Destiny was in her element, moving between customers, her daughter toddling nearby. Then the door opened. A man stepped inside. He wasn't there for hair care. Within moments, he pulled out a gun and fired. Destiny was struck in the head. In an instant, she collapsed in the very place she had poured her heart into. Chaos erupted. Clients screamed and scrambled to escape. Her baby cried out as her mother lay dying on the floor. The gunman fled, leaving behind a scene drenched in shock and grief. When police arrived, they confirmed what everyone feared. Destiny Harrison, 21 years old, mother to a 1-year-old child, and owner of her own thriving salon, was dead. The cruelty of her murder was not just in its violence, but in its audience. There were witnesses. People saw what happened. Clients were inside. Yet from that day to this, not a single person has stepped forward to identify the shooter. Baltimore detectives have spoken openly of their frustration. So many eyes, so many voices, and still silence. Her death made headlines across the city. The story was devastating in its timing, just days before Christmas, just days after she had begged for protection. The young woman who warned that she was scared for her life had been silenced before anyone could protect her. By the end of December, the police tried to break the wall of silence. On December 31st, less than 2 weeks after the murder, Baltimore police and Metro Crime Stoppers announced a reward of $4,000 for information leading to an arrest. Flyers were released, tip lines advertised, but no one called with the details detectives needed. The new year came, and then another. Life moved forward, but justice did not. Destiny's murder remained unsolved. The community whispered about it, some in fear, some in mourning, but not in court where her killer should have been facing accountability. Yet while the investigation struggled, Destiny's family and friends found a way to turn pain into purpose. Her funeral drew crowds. Mothers, daughters, business owners, all gathered to grieve the loss of a woman who had embodied ambition. Her daughter clung to relatives who would now raise her, a child robbed of her mother's embrace. Destiny's mother spoke with sorrow, but also with determination. Her daughter's name would not vanish into a headline. Out of that grief came something lasting, the Destiny Dream Scholarship. It was designed to help young people pursue education and entrepreneurship, to give them a chance to build the kind of dream Destiny herself had created with Madame D Beauty Bar. The fund grew quickly. By 2022, it had raised over $70,000. Dozens of students benefited. Destiny's name, etched into each award, carried forward into the lives of those who wanted to build businesses, careers, and futures. Her salon was gone, but her legacy had multiplied. Destiny's dream did not die, it spread. But the shadow of her murder never lifted. By 2024, 5 years had passed with no arrest. On July 8th of that year, local station WMAR covered her case again. Detectives stood before cameras, frustration evident, pleading once more for witnesses to come forward. The reward was doubled to $8,000, a reflection of both the passage of time and the desperation for answers. But even with more money on the table, the phone stayed silent. The silence surrounding her case is not just puzzling, it's infuriating. Destiny was murdered in front of witnesses. The community knows, somebody knows. And yet, the silence continues to shield her killer. In April of 2025, Destiny's story was brought back into the national conversation through the Black Girl Gone podcast, which revisited her murder and reminded listeners that after all these years, her case remains unsolved. The retelling reignited outrage, not only because of the brutality of the crime, but because of the failure of justice. The facts are clear. Destiny filed a report on December 10th, saying she was scared for her life. On December 19th, she obtained a peace order against a suspect. On December 21st, she was murdered in her own salon. And today, in 2025, her case is still unsolved. What remains is a haunting question. How can a mother cry out for help, follow every legal step, put her fear on record, and still be murdered days later with no justice to follow? Destiny's story is more than a tragedy. It is an indictment of silence. The silence of witnesses who saw the crime but will not speak. The silence of a community frozen by fear. The silence that allows killers to walk free while families bury their children. But silence can be broken. If you are watching this, Destiny's story is now in your hands. Don't let it vanish. Share it, talk about it, keep her name alive. Because awareness is a weapon against forgetfulness, and pressure is a tool against indifference. And if you know something, say something. You may think your detail is small. You may think your information doesn't matter. But to a mother robbed from her child, to a daughter robbed of her mother, it could mean everything. Call the Baltimore Police Homicide Unit at 410-396-2100 or leave an anonymous tip with Metro Crime Stoppers at 1-866-7-LOCK-UP. Destiny Harrison was more than a victim. She was a mother. She was a business owner. She was a dreamer. She built something beautiful and lasting, and she did everything she could to protect it. But the system didn't protect her, and the streets have stayed silent. The question that remains is this. Will her killer ever face justice, or will silence bury the truth forever? Her life mattered, her dream mattered, and her story must be told until justice is done. Justice for Destiny. Silence protects no one.